Let's bring her in now. Daniella Ponticelli called it. I don't know what network you were on, Daniella, in Canada. I watched it on Bally Sports, Florida. Looked like a hell of a hockey game. Were you having as much fun as it looked last night in the old, that was the old Maple Leaf Gardens, right?
Old Maple Leaf Gardens has been sold out all season, and it's fun. It is so fun in there. Also, just a great vantage point, selfishly, for play-by-play. You're very close to the action, so you really feel it. But it's just been electric. And I mean, when you start to add up all those wins, too, for Toronto, a team that was not great at the start of the season, right? People were going, oh boy, is this another Toronto team? No shade to the others, but there's a lot of those conversations happening, but it was a lot of fun. Always is, but truly this win streak is special. It's now the longest active win streak in North American professional hockey, men or women. So really exciting times.
Wow, how about that? We need to rely on the people like you to let us know about those things. But let me ask you, this season has clearly, this inaugural season, this maiden voyage for the PWHL, it's gone better than people would have hoped, I would think, from what I can see.
Yeah, I mean, we heard it from Stan Kasten just last week. Even he said it's exceeded my expectations, meaning he had high expectations to begin with, of course, investing in this. And it really has in so many ways. And I think it's just because you don't really have a bar to go off of. And now we really see this explosion. That's a word that was used this morning. I heard, of excitement and energy around it. But it truly just goes to amplify the need and the desire from the fans, especially to have this access to women's hockey. And it truly is about access. You talked about watching it on Bally Sports. I'm at a bar Sunday and I'm watching it there too, right? That is what was missing. And I think not just that, a number of other key pieces too, but it just truly is a big part of this whole change and this instrumental change.
Well, I think a lot of the tidal wave of popularity is media-driven. There's been a lot of media buy-in for this because why? People watch the media. Newsflash. And I'm just going to nerd out media-wise here and ask you, what kind of reaction have you had? I'm sitting here on the couch last night in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm like, Serena, that's Daniella. I'm watching it, and she's like, holy crap. What else around America or even around the world reaction have you had to these broadcasts?
Honestly, so I'm always watching, right, everyone else's stuff too. I'm watching a lot of the stuff out of the States. And so I'm following along on the live reacts. Sometimes it's what's happening on Twitter. Sometimes it's what's happening on YouTube. I'm also watching it on my TV, all of that. And you are getting this instant engagement. And so much of it is focused on the hockey. So I'm just going to keep it there. And that's exactly what we want, right? I personally have heard, right, from a number of people across Canada, family of mine that are outside of North America. It is an exciting time, and just to kind of see how much access is being given right now to these broadcasts.
Here's my thing that's burning in my mind. I got to ask you. You are the voice of the Professional Women's Hockey League, as far as I'm concerned. You're it, so you would be the person I think to ask this to. All the team names don't have names. It's Boston, it's Toronto, it's Montreal. And I think that's super cool. Like when it was the Washington football team or the Edmonton football team, when they were transitioning. I don't think they should ever go to team names. That would be I would submit that. I think it's cool.
You're the first person I have heard ever say that. I've been asked about names every single interview I've done. Love the hot take, Ron. No, but truly, for me, to me, I'm just sitting back and enjoying what I'm going through and what I'm doing. And it was something at first. I've mentioned this before, like, oh goodness, as an announcer, you're just so used to having, an extra name, an extra thing. It's not that bad. Once you're in it, right? I don't even think about that. It's just Toronto, it's Ottawa, it's Boston. It's, you just get into it. So from that point of view, I really don't have any sort of opinion on it. I just know that the names are coming. The league has said that. And I think that this inaugural season will always be special for that. And I also am a little jealous of all the people that have the original jerseys now, right? Because I think that that's going to be something that in the future, a lot of people are going to want, is those original jerseys where it was just the city name. And I think it's always going to be part of the PWHL history now.
Well, it's too bad if that has gone too far down the road because if you can put that forward to Stan, hey, there's my friend Rod in Florida. He thinks you should do no names. See what he says. As a guy that broadcast in the CFL when we had two teams with the same name.
Oh goodness.
Let's go with no names. You know, we were used to back in the day just saying Ottawa, Saskatchewan, not saying Riders or Riders because it was too confusing. So there's that. Now let me ask you
this. It happens in U Sports as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it does. Yeah, for sure. A hallowed rink that you're calling games in. What when the games are in Toronto? What do you think when you go in there?
Well, for me, it's very special because I was never there when it was its former state. So what I really appreciate is hearing from players, well, not players anymore, but head coach Ken Klee. We had a really great moment when he stepped in there, and he hadn't been in that barn since he played games there, right, as in the NHL. And so for him, he's just going, I'm just trying to piece together what I remember from the past and to see, okay, the roof really reminds me of where I am, but there's been so much change in that building. And so those moments have been really special, right? To kind of connect through their eyes and kind of see it. But it is just now, it's creating its own history. And there is always that tie-in, which is great to talk about. And also Verdun Auditorium is another historic venue in Montreal, of course, where the women are playing there, and they've had a lot of success. Montreal's team has in that building. So again, these two venues, of course, the seating capacity is always going to be the discussion, but to get to call games there and witness it is it gives me chills.
Yeah. Well, Montreal Forum's a movie theater now, which I don't care. I still go into the theater and still pretty cool to me. I wish they should play hockey in there. Hey, I saw you had some thoughts on Larry Dean retiring and joining the Saskatchewan Roughriders front office today. Would you mind communicating those to our audience?
Yeah, for those who don't know, of course, I worked with the Riders the last 2 seasons, and Larry Dean, it was always great to talk to him. And one of the things I'll always remember is he said, I'm not a quiet guy. I am, though, really committed to figuring out where I want to devote and give my time and energy to. So that even meant interviews, right? He's not going to put forth all of this energy if it's just not the right fit. And I always appreciated that about him because he truly was a leader on and off the field, always had immense respect from his teammates, which money can't buy. You've got to earn that. And I just love that his story, he got to complete his football story the way he wanted to on his terms after undergoing, that Achilles injury and able to come back. So I'm so excited for him and his future, and truly honored that I got to witness his last year's playing.
Interesting that you would bring that up, the energy component or where he's putting his energies, because he's big on that. We did a live interview at Grey Cup in Regina, and when it was done, he just stared at me for a second. He goes, you got great energy. You made me feel really welcome here. Thank you. And I was like, oh, okay, you felt that. That's cool. So that's good. As do you, Daniella. Thanks for this. Keep it up, and we'll be watching from down here in Florida. Say hey to your gay.
Thanks, Rod.
To your guy for me.
I will. Right, Thank you so much.
Ponticelli joining us from Toronto. Adam Goss, of course, is who we're talking about, the public address announcer of the Toronto Argonauts.